Leaked files and private resources have uncovered a devastating reality inside the Klondike's gold mining industry. Parker Schnabel, as soon as hailed as mining's unstoppable prodigy, now faces a remarkable disaster. It's sending shockwaves through the network. Internal statistics received via more than one industry veterans paint a stressful picture. Tens of millions in systems sitting idle, gold manufacturing plummeting through 60%, and team participants leaving behind Our lengthy investigation, compiled from exclusive interviews, drone pictures, and categorized operational data, exhibits how the youngster who revolutionized cutting-edge mining controlled to damage his personal empire. The proof shows this is not pretty much falling gold totals. It is about ambition, overconfidence, and the genuine value of pushing both floor and equipment past their limits. Prophetic to powerhouse, the meteoric rise of mining's youngest empire. Parker Schnabel's story wasn't just another tale of striking it wealthy in the frozen north. At 17, at the same time as his friends concerned approximately college applications, this mining prodigy was already shifting pay dust by means of the ton in Alaska's cruelest terrain. From hauling mere Oz to breaking information with lots, Parker's early fulfillment seemed unstoppable. And to their credit, but recent seasons paint a different photo. Golden desires turning to dust, with diminishing returns, elevating serious questions about this younger empire's foundation. Growing up at Big Nugget Mine, Parker absorbed mining know-how through blood and sweat. His grandfather, John Schnabel, wasn't just teaching system operation, he was crafting a legacy through every backyard of pay dust they moved. Industry veterans watched as this youngster absorbed many years of expertise, transforming their skepticism into grudging admire as he laid the foundation for what would turn out to be mining's maximum terrific success tale. The skeptics have been anywhere. First of all, how should a teenager manage a multi-million-dollar mining operation? But Parker wasn't your normal gold-hungry teen. His calloused arms and sharp mining instincts, honed via countless hours in excavator cabs, proved the doubters wrong. Every ounce of gold in his cleanup pens silenced every other critic, even as his willpower set new enterprise requirements. At Big Nugget, Parker's relentless force became legendary. Through brutal climate and difficult ground, his operation by no means stopped. The wash plant ran day and night, processing fabric others had disregarded as nugatory. His instincts reduced via demanding situations that could have broken seasoned miners, even as his revolutionary approaches to antique issues stuck the industry's interest. When John passed over Big Nugget's reins, Parker transformed this inheritance into an empire. Running operations with Army precision, his group pulled numbers that left veterans speechless. Each cleanup wrote new chapters in Alaskan mining history, proving this youngster wasn't simply working the floor, he turned into revolutionizing the enterprise. Those early seasons validated what occurs, while raw talent meets natural grit. Parker shattered expectancies like permafrost underneath D10 tracks, pulling masses of Oz from supposedly worthless claims. His orchestra of heavy equipment converted frozen floor into liquid assets, pushing via water management troubles and equipment disasters that would have stopped lesser operations cold. The Mining International watched in awe as this young gun, barely vintage sufficient to drink, mastered ground that had damaged endless others. His equipment had become mythical, transferring mountains of pay dirt with unparalleled precision. Every week introduced new statistics and achievements, constructing an empire that seemed unstoppable, till it wasn't. Confidential operational logs from this pivotal duration screen an important shift in Parker's trajectory. Industry veterans, talking on condition of anonymity, describe looking the younger prodigy's operation rework from an unmarried wash plant into something unprecedented. Internal documents recommend this alteration length while acting golden on the surface hid strategic choices that could later show catastrophic. According to a couple of resources acquainted with the scenario, what befell next could reshape the complete Klondike mining landscape. How the Empire phase. The Klondike wasn't prepared for what Parker Schnabel become approximately to unleash. With record-breaking seasons below his belt, he wasn't just mining gold anymore. He'd become revolutionizing how the sport changed into performed. His operation had evolved from an unmarried wash plant to a large unfold that would technique greater pay, dust in an afternoon than maximum miners dealt with in a week. Hokum, things changed pretty quickly. and he had now taken the medicine all out and is soon to be empty before performance. The ground was proving richer than all and sundry had imagined, with cleanup rooms turning out numbers that seemed almost not possible. 5, 9, old-timers who'd been operating claims for decades could not believe the gold totals popping out of Parker's floor. The younger gun had changed into a mining maestro, orchestrating a symphony of heavy equipment that was song to any investor's ears. Parker's empire become increasing faster than permafrost in summer thaw. Every season brought bigger gadget, more efficient systems, and gold totals that made enterprise veterans query the whole lot they knew about mining. His operation wasn't simply growing, it was evolving into something the Klondike had by no means visible earlier than D11 dozers carved through frozen floor like warm knives through butter, at the same time as wash plant life hummed day and night time, processing pay dust at a tempo that regarded almost supernatural. The sport wasn't just approximately finding gold anymore, it was about moving mountains to get to it. Parker's team had mastered the artwork of efficiency, turning what used to take weeks right into a count of days. He watched his brother, whose lips lapped up the ranch. The numbers coming out of Parker's operation have been astounding. We're speak me heaps of Oz, according to season, with a few cleanups yielding greater gold than entire mines might see in a 12 months. His approach became methodical, almost army in its precision. Each piece of floor became examined, mapped, and attacked with a method that maximized every minute of the fast mining season. Water management systems that other miners could handiest dream of kept the wash plant life walking at top efficiency. The ground might be frozen solid, but Parker's operation was a nicely oiled gadget, turning pay dirt into income with a consistency that made investors drool. This wasn't just mining anymore. This became gold extraction on an eventual scale. Each new claim Parker received was some other golden bankruptcy in his achievement tale. The young boss had evolved a nearly supernatural sense for analyzing floor, understanding exactly where to position his drill holes for maximum return. His crew moved like a synchronized dance of heavy machinery, each operator understanding their position within the grand production of pulling gold from the frozen north. The wash floor ran with precision timing, processing cloth at prices that could have appeared impossible just a few years in the past. Water management structures, often the downfall of lesser operations, were engineered to perfection. Parker wasn't just going for walks a mining operation anymore. He turned into conducting a masterclass in how to show frozen ground into liquid gold. But fulfillment on this scale brings its personal type of stress. The operation had grown so massive that even minor setbacks could value hundreds in lost gold. Equipment breakdowns were not simply inconvenient anymore, they have been potentially catastrophic to the season's bottom line, 748. Each decision Parker made carried extra weight than ever before, with hundreds of thousands in device and payroll striking on his calls. The younger mine boss who used to run a single wash plant changed into now juggling more than one operations throughout exceptional claims, every with its very own challenges and needs. The ground was nonetheless producing, but the stakes had in no way been higher, and the margin for errors had never been thinner. Looking returned, the signs had been there, diffused before everything, like hairline cracks in bedrock. The operation had grown almost too huge to control, with more than one wash plant life strolling concurrently across unique claims. Water management had become a consistent conflict, with each new reduce bringing fresh challenges. Equipment expenses have been soaring higher than gold prices, and the strain becomes starting to show in every factor of the operation. The group, as soon as a decent kick-knit family started displaying symptoms of stress under the relentless pressure to hold those document-baking numbers. Parker's dream of building the largest mining operation within the Klondike turned into becoming a fact. But at what fee? The mining community watched with a mixture of awe and problem as Parker's empire continued to make bigger. 9, his operation turned into pulling in gold totals that seemed nearly legendary. But whispers commenced circulating about the sustainability of such competitive mining. Veteran miners who'd seen empires rise and fall in these valleys observed familiar patterns emerging. In the early days, the family had 3, 5 secure, and the residents, the floor turned into none the less pain, but each ounce was coming at a better price, both in phrases of gasoline burned and system pressure to its limits. Parker's signature willpower remained unshaken, but the question on everybody's mind changed into whether or not this pace ought to possibly be maintained. Then got here the season that modified the whole thing. The operation had reached a scale that might have regarded impossible in those early Big Nugget days. Multiple wash vegetation have been running round the clock, processing pay dust from claims unfold throughout the Klondike. But as the gold totals began rolling in, something became exclusive. The numbers weren't adding up like they used to. Rich ground that had to have been paying out changed into yielding much less than anticipated. Equipment costs were consuming into profits like by no means before. The empire Parker had constructed with such precision turned into starting to display cracks in its bases. The empire Parker constructed became about to stand its biggest check yet, as Mother Nature and million-dollar errors collided to create an excellent hurricane that could shake his operation down to bedrock. The subsequent season would exchange the whole thing. The turning point. The signs had been there, buried like fool's gold in guarantees that regarded too appropriate to be genuine. Parker's operation had grown past all and sundry's wildest expectations, but below the surface, hassle changed into brewing faster than spring meltwater. The first foremost hit came when a supposedly rich declare became out to be nothing but depleted ground, $1 million mistake that could have crushed lesser operations. Test holes had shown promise, however, because the group dug deeper. The gold values disappeared like smoke inside the Klondike wind. The young mining prodigy, who regarded incapable of making wrong calls, became suddenly facing questions that even his grandfather's understanding could not answer. Water management, once Parker's strong point, had become his operation's worst nightmare. The state-of-the-art systems that had set enterprise requirements were now failing against exceptional demanding situations. Springs no one knew existed grew to become cuts into lakes in a single day, drowning equipment and washing away treasured time and money. The team worked across the clock, combating a dropping struggle in opposition to nature's fury. Pumps that might drain Olympic pools in hours barely made a dent in the growing water ranges. Every answer appeared to create two new issues, and for the primary time in his profession, Parker started out seeing his carefully laid plans dissolve quicker than pay dirt in a sluice box. The system breakdowns hit subsequent, like dominoes falling in a superbly orchestrated disaster. Machines that had been pushed to their limits subsequently commenced giving up, one after every other. The D-11 dozers, once the pride of Parker's fleet, commenced displaying their age at the worst feasible moments. Wash vegetation that had processed report amounts of pay dirt had been grinding to pricey halts, their worn elements testament to years of relentless use. Each repair bill cut deeper into already thinning earnings, and components that used to take days to arrive now took weeks. Way to deliver chain nightmares. So far, so good. The young boss who'd built his reputation on in no way preventing became getting to know the difficult manner that sometimes the floor forces you to pause, and got here the group issues. The tight-knit team that had helped construct Parker's empire started out showing cracks below the mounting pressure. Veteran operators, bored with the countless push for higher production numbers, commenced thinking choices they might have as soon have asked, soon as followed with out hesitation. The harmony of heavy equipment running in best sync become replaced with the aid of the discord of frustrated voices over crackling radios. Parker's management fashion, which had worked wonders at some point of the boom years, now appeared to grate towards the truth of their state of affairs. The younger boss, who'd as soon as stimulated loyalty through his dedication, turned into now dealing with a exclusive kind of take a look at, keeping his group together whilst gold wasn't flowing love it used to. The gold marketplace's volatility struck any other blow to Parker's operation. Fuel charges have been soaring better than excavator buckets, while gold costs swung wildly, making every operational selection a excessive stakes gamble. The snug margins that had allowed for competitive mining strategies had been disappearing faster than summertime in the Yukon. Equipment bills that, when regarded workable, now loomed like darkish clouds over the operation. Parker observed himself doing math he'd by no means needed to keep in mind before. Calculating the fee of each yard of dust moved, each hour of gadget time, each drop of fuel burned. The days of focusing basically on manufacturing have been over. Environmental policies tightened their grip like permafrost round a buried nugget. New necessities intended more paperwork, greater oversight, and greater regulations on how and in which they may mine. Cuts that would have been accepted without query in preceding seasons now confronted prolonged critiques and luxurious changes.